We continue our visual tour of Argentina's vibrant capital. From the iconic Avenue 9th de July, the majestic Obelisco, and the breathtaking Ateneo Grand Splendid bookstore, we'll uncover the beauty and cultural richness of this enchanting city. Prepare to be captivated by the memorizing but broken Floralis Genérica. Find tranquility in the serene Jardín Japonés and delve into the food at Basa. Let's discover the wonders of Buenos Aires together.
So then we drove down an avenue. Yeah. And it was like a 9-lane avenue, and it's, I think, the world's largest avenue. And evidently Americans argue because they have lots of lanes on their freeways, but that's a motorway freeway, and this is an avenue, so it's the largest
avenue in the world
with lots of lanes.
And it's called the 9th of July.
Yes.
And
the 9th of July Avenue, is it?
Yeah.
Or July the 9th Avenue must
yes.
be. Yeah.
And that's July 9th being Independence Day for Argentina.
Yeah.
And part of the way along the avenue is the Pinnacle. And he was telling us some interesting stories about the Pinnacle. So when it came to bring people's attention to breast cancer, somebody painted it.
Well, I don't know how they do it. They paint it with washable paints that come off. So they painted it pink.
On another occasion, I can't remember what it was.
I don't know how they would have done this one. It was
they did a multicolour one as well, didn't they?
And then the other thing, they somehow did a condom.
Yeah, they
on
had
the top of it for like safe sex,
You know.
So
it was quite fascinating, you know, and fascinating that they use what is a monument, if you like, historic monument. That they're using it to bring focus on modern issues, you know.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed that.
That was
nice.
good. Yes, that was good.
So we're en route to the obelisk, going via the 9th of July Avenue. When you're on it, it doesn't look big, but the view from the obelisk actually underlines the size.
9 lines driving north and 9 lines driving south. Plus 2 and 2 each direction. This is Evita.
This lady is Evita.
Eva Peron. And this is the Department of Social Development, this big building here.
Does she light up at night?
See?
Yeah.
See? So this is definitely the widest avenue in the world, okay?
Obelisk of Buenos Aires is a national monument and an icon of Buenos Aires. It's located in the Plaza de la Republic and the intersection of Corrientes and the 9th of July avenues. The obelisk was completed in May 1936, having taken the 3 months to build. Originally there was a church at that site which was dedicated to St. Nicholas of Bari, and that church was demolished. However, that was the church where the Argentinian flag was first officially hoisted in Buenos Aires. And that was in 1812. The obelisk was built 400 years after the first settlement of Buenos Aires, which was in 1536. It's 67.5 metres tall, and the outside is polished cement which has been scored to mimic slabs. In 2005, the obelisk was covered by a giant pink condom to commemorate World AIDS Day. In 1973, it was decorated as a Christmas tree, and it's also been dressed up as a gigantic pencil. I love the imaginative thinking that's gone on here. Absolutely brilliant. And we then had to circle round, facing back the way that we'd originally come in order to swing a right and get to El Ateneo.
So then we drove to like a
It's
high
actually
street,
a
wasn't it? And it was
bookstore.
a bookstore, and it used to be the Opera House.
What's it called?
The bookstore was I've got written it down here. El Ateneo, and inside it was amazing, wasn't it?
It was, so you still had the curtain that it would have had when it was
so
an
there was the
opera house.
curtain of the stage, and then behind that was like a cafe.
Yeah.
And then you had all the different tiers of where the seats would have been, and they all had books. It was a huge bookstore.
I mean, the books didn't seem to be particularly notable. You could get
no,
Harry
it was
Potter.
just any kind of book thing. They had Britney
But
Spears.
you also had a very, very ornate ceiling.
It was beautiful. It was absolutely lovely. So
and a useful way of maintaining effectively an
keep
original facade.
still keep the building.
Yeah.
And then after that, we went to a cafe next door and had a drink because we needed a cold drink. But anyway, enjoy looking at the book.
El Ateneo.
El Ateneo. We hope.
One of the nice things about this tour is that travelling round in a car, you get to take in a lot of the sights of Argentina as you travel between major locations, which is really nice.
What makes this place unique is that the original part of the theater was maintained and preserved, okay? And so most of people looks like it's a opera house.
So El Ateneo Grand Splendid is an absolutely palatial bookstore, but it has had a number of different roles since its original inception in 1919. As a performing arts theatre, it had a capacity of just over 1,000 people, and it staged a number of performances, including notable performances by some key tango artists. In 1924, it actually housed a radio station, and then in 1929 it was converted into a cinema and showed the first sound films that were presented in Argentina. Its current form as a bookstore started in February 2000 when it was leased to the mother company that owns El Ateneo, and was then actually renovated and converted into a book and music store. The original seating was removed, and in its place bookshelves were installed, and there was about 2,000 square meters of space. And in 2007 it sold over 700,000 books. And here we are at Ateneo, which is a bookstore which has been created out of an old opera house.
Steve.
Hello.
Hello, where are we?
Ateneo.
And this is the lovely opera house. It's been turned into a bookstore.
Yes.
Bookshop, I should say. Amazing. All full of books.
So the theatre boxes are still intact, and a cafe has been created at the back on what was originally the stage. The ceiling, the ornate carvings, the actual red stage curtains and all the lighting and architectural details remain, which is really incredible given the level of changes that the building has gone through. And it still feels like a very splendid, very grand theatre that it was originally designed to be. So we decided that we needed a drink and some refreshment, and there was a really nice cafe stroke restaurant next door, which we went to. Maximilian didn't join us. He decided to go back to the car. His new normal modus operandi was to put the bonnet up and believe that a piece of paper with the word tourist on it would save him from getting a parking fine. We would actually text him when we were ready to go and he'd come and pick us up. So we then went on to look at Floralis Genérica.
I think we pronounced that right, yeah.
Which is a 20-metre stainless
steel hand thing.
It's a flower. And
yes.
It basically opens as the day comes and goes.
Yeah. Unfortunately. There's always an unfortunately when we go anywhere. They'd had a really bad storm, more like a hurricane storm, hadn't they, about a month before. One of the petals had completely come off. And they were there.
Every other petal.
He said they didn't have the money really because it was going to cost millions to have it done. Properly. But there were some guys there banging away and doing something to it.
Not quite sure what they were doing.
Don't know what they were doing, but so you never know. It might, which is a great shame because would have been lovely to see.
Yeah,
it was huge. Yeah,
absolutely huge.
Yeah,
and it would have been nice to see it open. It's next to the university building.
Yeah,
which is very Neolithic. Sort of Greek architecture, fantastic looking building, but the flower itself, it would, if it were all intact and standing proud, it would have been absolutely an eye opener.
Yeah,
it really was. But unfortunately, it looked a bit forlorn.
Yeah,
as
you
Joanne
can
said.
still see probably from the footage how it would have been had it all been intact.
But literally every petal was damaged on it. I think that was the same storm that actually caused a set of damage to the ferry terminal as well, the cruise terminal.
Yes, have we said about that? Yeah.
No,
we haven't, because we haven't got to that yet. Yeah, we'll explain that when we come to it.
We'll explain our embarkation procedure later.
Yeah.
But enjoy the footage of both the sculptural flower and also the nearby university building.
Is this a flower?
Sí.
Oh, isn't it gorgeous?
Floralis Genérica is a stainless steel and aluminium structure which is over the top of a reinforced concrete pond, which I imagine would be a lovely reflection of the sculpture itself. The sculpture was created in 2002 and is designed that it can move, opening and closing its petals during the day. It's a tribute to all the flowers in the world. Anyway, when we went, it was in a pretty poor state. The winds in December 2023 had done major damage to the sculpture. I think every single petal had some damage, but there was one petal that was completely on its side, and there were a couple of guys there bagging it for some reason. It wasn't actually clear what they were trying to achieve.
This is our main university.
Next door is the main university in Argentina, which has a very distinctive Greek style that you can see here. It's an easy walk, even though it was very hot that day. So our last stop was
very hot by then.
Extremely hot. Was to the Japanese
garden. Yes, Jardín Japonés. Yes,
and there was an admission cost to get in, but that was included
in the tour. Yeah,
within the tour, and actually it was a lovely garden.
It was, and there was lovely seats under the trees. You know,
you made good use of the
I did.
Seats under the tree.
Sat under the tree.
Let me put it, by this time Joanne was fried.
Well, and my friend. And we just sat under the tree, which was lovely.
And I went to explore the gardens, which I found absolutely lovely. But it was, by then it was, I would say it was...
what time of the day would it have been?
Oh, it was about 4 o'clock-ish, I think, something like that.
I don't know that it was actually.
No,
I think it's about
3.
two or 3, yeah. My God, was it hot? It was, yeah.
But the gardens were very nice. Lots of Japanese style ornaments, lots of red,
trees and water
fountains and
boulders to step over,
and there was a nice bell with the Japanese clang. You know, with
there was also like a cafe there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a cafe. But it was an absolutely scorching koi fish in the pond. Yeah. You know, very nice.
Yeah.
So watch that on. After we'd done the gardens, we then made our way back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And we went through the ricotta area of the city, and he pointed out various buildings and things that we would find interesting if we were to come back there our following day, which was our plan.
Yes, which we did do, but
we did do.
Tell you about that on another one.
Yeah.
Okay. Enjoy.
The places of interest to tourists in Argentina are actually not that far apart, and we had quite an easy journey from place to place, and were able to fit in quite often, passing one of the locations that we've been to previously in order to get to another location. The Japanese gardens are very much like you would expect. They have a lot of eye candy in the form of red bridges, water features and koi carp that one would expect. The pruning of the bushes was immaculate, and they're behind a wall, but they're relatively small. There isn't a lot of places to go for shade, as we found out, because it was another boiling day when we visited. At one time there were a number of Japanese that were resident in Argentina. Over the years those have diminished, but those that are left still tend to the garden, and they're very nicely kept. The gardens aren't like I've experienced in public gardens in Japan. They're more a representation and probably appeal slightly more to the Western eye. than they do to the Japanese eye. Particularly the parks in Japan are very, very different to here. This is supposedly the largest Japanese garden outside of Japan and was created in the 1960s for a visit of the Japanese emperor. When we went, it was heaving with visitors, and you didn't get a lot of the feeling of tranquility just because of the amount of people that were hustling and bustling around. The others managed to find some shade, and I went round the garden looking to see what I could find and what there was to enjoy. I must admit it was very enjoyable, but I just wish it hadn't been so hot. So the price of admission was actually included in our tour price, which was very nice, though I do understand it's actually quite reasonably priced anyway. All in all, it was well worth the visit. It was enjoyable to walk around, and it was nice to see something that was different to the other parts of Argentina. But I hope you will agree it gave some nice video and photo opportunities that we will look back and treasure our time here. So bells are very synonymous with Japanese garden, and they are believed, when they're sounded, to bring good luck, drive away misfortune and provide protection. And that's one of the reasons that you will see them a lot. They appeal to a specific guardian talisman called an emblematic. This was our last stop on our 6-hour tour, and we had just gone slightly over the 6 hours before we started to return to our hotel. I must admit this had been our first via tour, and one that we had thoroughly enjoyed. We had a great experience. We particularly liked the tour guide and fully understand why he got the 5-star reviews. Indeed, we discussed with him the possibility of doing another tour with him on our return. Tomorrow, the plan is that we will go around the city. We'll go to Recoleta Cemetery, which is where Eva Perón has actually been buried in her family grave, and we'll take in the sights. In the vlog that follows, you will also see part of this trip, as there wasn't enough space to fit in our visit to San Telmo.
Oh, the cake shop, man, cake shop. Yeah. That was fabulous.
The other place I was mentioning is right on this street,
Which one's that? Basa.
Basa, because this street name is Basa Vislao. This is a nice place. Basa.
Now back at the Carl Hotel, and this is the reception and foyer. One of the touches that we particularly liked, and you'll see it in a minute, is that they put on a supply of cakes and also both cold and hot drinks that you can take during the day entirely free. We really liked this hotel. It was ideally placed to get into most of the tourist locations. It was clean, and it was really friendly staff, ultra friendly staff I'd say, and also the area that it was in was well patrolled by both the police and also felt particularly safe. So all in all, a really good choice. We stayed here twice. There were about 10 floors, and on this occasion we stayed on the 6th floor, and this is the view we had.
Hello, we're in Buenos Aires. We're at the Carl's Hotel in Buenos Aires. It's fantastically situated for everything that is around here. Just going to give you a bit of a room tour. You've got your card that you put in here for your lights. Air conditioning, of course, and we need it because it's very, very hot. This is a multi-plug, which does all plugs. Bedside light. Got a nice, great big 6-foot bed, which is great. Telephone over on the other side, more or less the same really. Over here we've got a fridge. You do get 1 bottle of water per room per day, which is free. Anything else you've got to pay. Television, we haven't tried the television yet. I've got Argentinian plugs here and Argentinian plugs the other side of the bed. And a chair, and then over here there's a wardrobe, big safe, can get a laptop in, drawers, things to hang, so that's good. Nice full length mirror there. So there's not much else to say. I mean, we have got our window, you can open it, and there's like a, I think they call it a Juliet balcony, but it is so hot. They've got a heat wave on at the moment. It's about 34 degrees, so we won't be doing that. We'll just have the air conditioning on, I think. So this is the bathroom, slidey door, and we'll go in and show you here. Got a nice big mirror, towels, hand basin, small little hand basin, but adequate, and you get all your shampoo and all the rest of it there, and soap. Got a nice toilet. You have a bidet. Haven't used a bidet, but we have a bidet there, and we have a bath with a shower above it, and a little tray over there to put your soap and whatever over there. So that's all there is to it. Small but perfectly adequate.
As we made our way back to the hotel, we discussed recommendations for good places to eat, and later that evening he sent me a list on WhatsApp, and we chose a local one, which was Basa from that list. And we had a really nice meal at Basa. It was very enjoyable. It was a lot more expensive than some of the other ones that we've been to, but was very reasonable compared to the price of a meal in a traditional Western restaurant, either in the UK or in the States.